Hello guys, this is Flag coming at you from the sub-basement of HelixxVR headquarters, and today we're bringing you a sneak peek into a new upcoming title by Zentrifuge called Void Link. Void Link is a VR-only, casual, real-time space strategy game that takes place in a three-dimensional playground where you gather resources, craft ships, build a fleet, and go into battle mano a mano against your rivals. Void Link is a 1v1 multiplayer title that supports both the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift, including full touch controller support along with standing and full room scale gameplay. This title will be available on Steam December 27th, and I will link the description below. Today I'll be playing the game with none other than the creator of Void Link himself, the one-man dev team, Klaus. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about Void Link.
It's a casual experience for people who have never seen RTS potentially, but it's gonna bring all the charm of the early days RTS games such as Command and Conquer, combined with a fascination of moving through interstellar space as a giant, supervising star systems, toying with huge spaceships and miniature size floating all around one, while standing in a VR's play area, as we know it.
Can you go into more detail on the crafting system that's built into the game?
Yeah, happy. So there's not a fixed set of units that you can build. It's more like a fixed set of modules, and the modules are all cubes. And you have this Minecraft-style ship editor with which you can combine those modules to whatever features you want in your ship, and you can basically come up with any combinations of those modules and decide which units you want to go to battle with. So it's a easy click together. It feels a bit like Minecraft. I am very excited to hear what players will say about this.
Yeah, to me, whenever I was playing around with it, it felt a lot like that set construct, but magnetic, where you just like stick parts together. It was really fun to just mess around with it. I was just making monstrosities in the editor.
They will fly. They will fly.
I'm gonna try some of them. I promise you that. I'm gonna make some outrageous junk just to see what happens.
That works. I mean, you can startle the opposition by just sending some ridiculous contraption at them, so they have to figure out what the hell is this thing gonna do.
So, what can we expect to see in the near future concerning your roadmap?
Well, after the launch, obviously, I want to build on the most important features. I have a fixed set of features that I want to realize until full launch. So we have an early access coming up on December 27, as you already mentioned, and the full launch will be anything between like 3 months to 9 or maybe even 12 months after that. And in that period of time, I want to do some things. And the first thing I want to do is I want to open up the ship editor that we just talked about and allow for really very free combination of modules. And then there you have the shipyards, and the shipyards right now, they produce a unit, and they produce the unit one at a time. But the shipyards are also comprised of construction modules. So depending on the size of your shipyard, it can produce bigger or smaller units only. And also, it should be able to produce multiple small units at the same time if there are still slots idling, right? So if you have a huge 4x3 array of production modules and you just want to produce harvesters, which are 2 modules combined only, then in theory it could produce 6 at a time, and I want to definitely support that. You can issue a whole slew of low-tier units at once and don't have to wait until they all arrive. That's the first thing I'm going to jump on, yeah.
Are more modules, different modules that aren't included already, and along with, other ships, are those going to be made available later on?
That's a very good question. So I mentioned, when we were playing, there's 12 different module types in total, and 8 of which are available for chip editing right now, and the remaining 4 shall be like available just as well for the full release. But beyond those 12 modules, I don't want to extend the set of module types at all. I feel that's already almost too many. It should stay simple. The game is not meant to grow more complex in the feature sets that or in the tech that is included and available, and it should grow in complexity only by what players bring into the game.
Okay.
Maybe similar to the board game Go, if you know that one, a traditional board game which has very simple rules but can lead to very complex strategical situations just because people come up with them implementing those simple rules. And that's a fascination I wanted to capture with this game as well a bit.
Now, I noticed that you had, AI in the practice areas, but is there any plans to add AI into the mix for those who have either, bandwidth limited internet or just like playing solo?
Yeah, well, that's one goal. I mean, the practice play is kind of the solo play right now, but I can't call it really a single-player mode supported so far, because it's really just very basic practice. But for the full release, I plan to integrate a single-player campaign, not too ambitious, not too too much, not too long-running. Maybe like a couple of maps that allow people to enjoy the key features of strategy that the game offers without having to go online and play competitively against other humans. So there should be one, but again, I mean, I'm a one-man team, and I probably don't get to produce cutscenes to like the big studios do, of course. It's gonna be maybe quick and dirty, maybe it's gonna be cute and dirty, or quick and cute. Yeah, let's see what's gonna happen.
Say, being downright vanilla is nothing wrong with it. A lot of people don't like cutscenes. I'm one. I don't care if they're there or not. One thing that like with solo play, you could have simplistic campaigns such as escort missions and whatnot. Kind of like staying with that. Going back to that old Command and Conquer. Some of the things that they had you do. You have the one-man commando missions, where you got one ship going into the onslaught by itself, and it has a decent amount of power, and it's specialized for that kind of mission,
I like that. You want to script my single-player campaign?
I could try. Who knows what it'll end up like? You could ask the other guys. I'm a little nuts.
Can't hurt to try, but yeah, that's definitely should be something like a single player campaign in the game, because it's just a shame if it was not there. It's easy enough. It's just something I did not get to do before this early access launch.
Which is understandable. Right now, you're working on core mechanics, getting rid of whatever bugs are still left behind, instructions that may need to be put in place. A lot of things on your plate.
That's right. The core experience should be as smooth as possible, and the core experience is definitely multiplayer, one-on-one right now. In the future, I hope it's going to be 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 or more. But that's early access right now.
What engine was used to create Void Link, and why did you choose it?
Oh, that's an easy one. I mean, the game is completely created with Unity, and I'm using various libraries of third-party providers. Most notably, of course, Steamworks for the integration with SteamVR and some of the features that Steamworks provides, such as matchmaking. But Unity I chose because it's just precisely the right level of, level of abstraction for a game creator nowadays, or for me, for the stuff I want to do. I don't need the super high performance that Unreal Engine would offer me. I need an engine that lets me experiment and iterate and not having to worry too much about the underlying low-level performance or low-level features. And Unity offers a very good trade-off there. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, your game really doesn't look like a Unity game, at least not from whenever I was using Unity. Your lighting looks a lot better, and have they improved that in the past year? Or?
You're such a flatterer.
It just doesn't. It does not look like a Unity game. I mean, most of the games we play are Unity games, and they're the screen door effect. Everybody always oh, you don't want to get into VR has screen door effect. You don't really notice it in yours, But other games, it's like really noticeable. There's like this carpeted sheen about everything, and. I actually, just like, like Orcstar, whenever I got in there, it was the first wow moment was like, I actually was looking around and space looked like space. And then I get into your game and it's another wow moment. Space looks like space. I'm not looking at this carpeted, it looks like a poster wrapped around me of stars. It looks like I'm really there, and in most games that have space in them, the space doesn't look good. It looks like the Steam Home crap space that you get with that, where it just doesn't look real. It's not believable. And
I would like to comment on that. I mean, this is something that's easy to point out, and it's a bit fascinating because it directly relates to VR. Well, what game developers always do is use a sky map, and the sky map has this property that it moves with the camera, so it feels like it depicts stuff that's infinitely far away or very far away, like the horizon in a landscape. So that's how a sky map usually works. You must have heard about that, right?
Oh yeah.
So this trick with just tuck it to the camera and it will move around with the player, so he will think it's infinitely far away. It does break down as soon as you have stereo vision, because your eyes can tell how far it is away, even without it moving with relation to the player, because you have two eyes and they understand that, okay, the sphere is right there 10 meters away from me, or right there 2 meters away from me, or maybe even just 10 centimeters. Mm-hmm. And that's something you have to look after. So when I started the game, I made a sky sphere, and I basically wrote my own code for that, and I discovered that effect. Okay, why can't I see how far the sky sphere is away? Fucking stereo vision. And then I used a third-party library that basically accounted for that effect and basically moved the sky sphere between the two cameras that are used for the two eyes, right? Mm-hmm. Moved it back and forth, basically used two different positions for the sky sphere.
Oh, okay. So it's like an overlap.
Yeah.
Like a binocular type effect.
Right. So the fake works again, but you really have to be sure that each eye gets its own sky sphere in this respect. Okay,
that makes perfect sense. Is there any plans to work with others to fulfill the goals you have set for Void Link?
I'm looking forward to that. It's kind of, I'm proving myself as a game developer here with this project, and I'm looking forward to team up with others and work on joint visions and just reach further in shorter time, right? I mean, it's so rewarding if you produce something beautiful, but the reward dies down with the time it takes out of your life, and it's so much more rewarding to have a vision shared with others. And for my next project, or maybe even for the next phases of development for Void Link, I want to do that with others. It's way more fun.
So it keeps you on your toes too. Yeah.
Well, it's a trade-off. I mean, if you have a very strong opinion of how your game should look, or as you say, you have a very strong vision, then it's always a trade-off, and you have to be a communicator. Many game developers maybe are not good communicators, and that's what makes whole game projects basically go south or result in half-baked games, and or maybe not pulled through game concepts and so on. and that's really sad. And I think the industry has a lot of potential to grow in that respect. But who am I to point that out? I think I'm the worst in this discipline. Working alone on this game for over a year, but anyway.
Well, that takes some dedication to stick with it, and you've done a lot in a year's time. I tell you, I've never spent more than a week on any of the projects I worked on in Unity. Anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to say I hope players will enjoy this, and I hope players will give me feedback, and the next phase of development up to full launch, full release, will be a joint effort with the community of players, and I'm looking forward to that interesting debates.
Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you, Klaus, for joining us today. Go ahead and plug in your Twitter account there for us.
All right. If you want updates on the progress or news in general about Zentrifuge, just sign up to my Twitter account, Zentrifuge Games.
Zentrifuge Games, all one word, correct?
That's one word.
All right, we'll be placing that in the description below. For all of you who found this video interesting and want to know more about Void Link, check it out. It's on Steam. It'll be available on the 27th of December. That's this month. It's 2 days after Christmas. Get your money ready. That's a Void Link for those of you who weren't paying attention. The link will be in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you didn't, well, hit that other button. If you want to see more videos like this one, please support us here at HelixxVR and press that subscribe button. It won't cost you a thing, and the videos are free too. Don't forget to check out our other great videos on YouTube at HelixxVR, which is the channel you're on right now. The other guys work hard to create some really great content, including live feeds and giveaways on a daily basis. For more stuff HelixxVR, check the description below. Until next time, guys, this is Flag, heading back to the basement. See ya.